Spec Ops: The Line is a game I've been recommended a number of times for its compelling narrative, and so with my $6 and a Steam winter sale, I've finally taken the liberty to see what all the hype's about. The gameplay is hardly anything out of the ordinary. It's your standard cover-based shooter with a few interesting set-piece flourishes. I played on PC with an Xbox controller, and I can say the aiming and shooting is pretty fun. Most enemies don't feel like bullet sponges other than the occasional heavy that started showing up midway through the game. Moving in and out of cover was easily my least favorite part of the game. It was clunky, stiff, and sometimes even felt unresponsive. And because staying behind cover is pivotal to survival, there were many times I died due to what seemed like a mechanical blunder. However, checkpoints are doled out quite often, so I never felt like I was losing any progress when I died. With cutscenes included, my playthrough took just about under 5 hours to complete. There are different difficulties and a few different endings, but I'd still say the replayability is rather low because of the very average gameplay. If you want to see all the endings, I'd just recommend checking them out on YouTube. There's a decent variety of guns, and because the ammo you collect is quite varied, you'll be swapping weapons fairly often, which is something I appreciated. It helped the otherwise standard shooting galleries feel a bit more dynamic. Most weapons have an ability attached to them, such as silencers, grenade launchers, or laser sights, etc., which helped each weapon feel more unique. You can pick off a few enemies silently, but each battle will eventually turn into a chaotic firefight. Your AI team members actually do a pretty decent job being useful and staying alive. Occasionally one of them will need to be revived, which you can do yourself or you can have your other teammate do it. As far as what you can command your squad to do, the options are really quite limited. From time to time you'll get a special prompt to have them throw flash grenades, but the commands are almost solely for getting rid of enemies who are giving you a hard time. It doesn't always work 100%, but it did get me out of a few tight situations. The story of Spec Ops: The Line is by far one of the best narratives in a military shooter game to date. Call of Duty might have missiles and toxic gas, but The Line takes a deeper and darker look at the grayness of war and the psychological consequences behind your actions. Every character in the story is relatable, and the voice acting is really good, with veterans like Nolan North playing Captain Walker and Jake Boozy as the radio man. The dialogue and excellent narrative drive new life into Spec Ops, really making the experience unlike any other third-person shooter. The best part about this game is how long the narrative stays with you after you've beaten it. It definitely has a lasting impact, and really makes you think about the game's more mature lessons and themes. The art style has a couple of decent moments to shine, especially in its stronger narrative moments, but otherwise it's not really that impressive. When compared to other games that came out the same year, such as Mass Effect 3, Borderlands 2, and Journey, Spec Ops: The Line looks pretty average. Other than a couple of interesting lens flares and environmental set pieces, the overall art design didn't wow me. The game uses licensed music well to round out the game's campaign, but it never blew me away. That said, it never felt out of place either. On the other hand, the game's sound effects did feel pretty lackluster. Explosions and gunfire really didn't have that punchy feeling to them. Now this is a game that definitely feels like it deserves a full-on remake. With a narrative like this, that's good and powerful, it's really a shame that the gameplay is the definition of average. Overall, I don't regret my time with Spec Ops: The Line, and I'm glad I got to experience its wonderful narrative for myself. The gameplay and combat isn't anything special, but for $6 I'm not going to complain. I definitely recommend this game to anyone who appreciates a strong narrative. If you're just looking for a good shooter, I would recommend other games, but I'd still give this game a try if you happen to nab it while it's on sale. The campaign will only take 1 to 2 sittings, but the lasting impact it'll have on your mind will be much, much longer. I hope all you gamers enjoyed the review. Don't forget to hit that like button to support the channel, and until next time, this is Game Ghost. Happy gaming.